So the first books I have in this book haul are The Collectors by Jacqueline West. It is an enchanting 2-book series, and it is about Van, who always kind of feels like an outsider, and one day he notices a girl stealing pennies from a fountain, and he decides to follow the girl, Pebble, and uncovers an underground society full of wishes and the people who collect them. So not all wishes are good, and even good wishes have unintended consequences. And the collectors have made it their duty to protect us, but they're not the only ones who have their eyes on the world's wishes. And so they may not be the good guys after all. So Jacqueline West basically spins a story about magic, friendship, and the gray area between good and evil. Okay, the next set of books is actually it's a new series by Jessica Townsend. I have 2. I'm not sure if there's another one after this sequel or not, but this one is about Morrigan Crow, and she is cursed. She was born on Eventide, which is really just a very unlucky day for any child to be born. So she gets blamed for all kinds of basically misfortunes, which could be anything from hailstorms to heart attacks. But the worst part is that she's cursed and is doomed to die at midnight on her 11th birthday. But she is whisked away, I won't tell you how, but she gets whisked away to a secret magical city called Nevermore. And there she has to basically compete in 4 difficult trials against a bunch of other children that also have all kinds of extraordinary talents. And she has to find a way to pass those tests, or she'll actually have to leave the city and confront her deadly fate. So that's this book. The sequel, The Calling of Morrigan Crow, is actually Morrigan basically has to undertake fighting a new evil. And that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to give it away. And here is just a look at the inside in case you're curious as to the level of reading. So here's how thick it is. And then here is this one as well. So looks like a really great series for kids, tweens that love magic. So our next book that we have, and I think we're going to do this one as a read aloud, but it is called Wicked Nix by Lena Coakley. And it is about a fairy, kind of a mischievous woodland fairy whose name is Nix, and he has been put in charge of protecting the forest from the most dangerous enemy, humans. So of course there is an invader then that trespasses on Nix's territory, and he has to come up with all kinds of different tricks that he's going to use to chase this trespasser away. But what we end up learning is that this sprite is not at all what he seems. So this story actually really just explores the timeless bonds of family and the joy of finding home in unexpected places. It also has some illustrations, which and it might be a little easier read. I think the reading age is for 8 to 12-year-olds, and there are the occasional pictures. There's not too many of them, but there is some illustrations, which is kind of fun. And it's a pretty quick book. I think it only has 176 pages. So like I said, I think we're going to do this as one of our fall read-alouds this year. So the next book in our book haul is called Saving Lucas Biggs, And this follows one girl's race to change the past in order to save her father's future. So it's about 13-year-old Margaret, who knows that her father is innocent, but that doesn't stop the judge from sentencing him to death. So Margaret is determined to save her dad, even if it means using her family's secret and also forbidden ability to time travel. So again, this is, I think the reading age is 8 to 12. It's 320 pages. So I love books about time travel. So I'm also hoping that we can do this one as a read aloud, because I know Grayson likes time travel and I love it so much. So I'm really looking forward to this one. These next two books are actually part of a trilogy, but I only have the first two because that is all that they had from Book Outlet, which is, I don't know if you know about Book Outlet, but they have books at such a reduced price. They're brand new, and I think they're just basically overstock. And the only thing that they ever come with that I can tell is a lot of times they'll just have this little black mark along the edge, but they're actually brand new books. So, and they are so discounted. I think like maybe these books were like $2 or $3 each. Which is where we get so many of our books. You can't beat really bookoutlet.com. So this first book, Throwback, by Peter Larangis, is again another one of my favorite topics, is the time travel. And so Corey Fletcher is actually able to travel through time. All he needs is like a metal artifact from a certain point in time, and then he can go there. So there are actually, in this book, it alludes to hundreds of time travelers that live in secret throughout the world, but none of them have the ability to change past events. But Corey accidentally saves a life while time traveling, and then he realizes that he is the first ever, what they call throwback, with the power to alter life as we know it, which then also means that his own life is now in danger. So let's see, these books are also for the reading age of 8 to 12. This one I think has 368 pages. And so I just will, if Grayson really likes these first two, then we'll go ahead and get the third, even if we have to get that third one from Amazon or from the library. But that is another set for time traveling books. These next two books by P.W. Katanis, I think Grayson is going to just love them. They are, he loves everything about dragons, and so he will find that in these books. They are a story about 12-year-old Happenstance. He goes by Hap. He wakes up in a cave and has no memory of who he is. And then Lord Umber and his companions rescue Hap. And then the whole group sets out on dangerous missions that will then continue in this book called Dragon Games, the sequel. So their journey takes them to a corrupt kingdom where Lord Umber's enemy has acquired some dragon eggs. And Lord Umber wants to study a new magical species, but what starts out as a quest for knowledge ends up turning into a dangerous rescue operation. So I think Grayson will tear through these books rather quickly. They are also from Book Outlet. You can see the black mark, but again, so just a couple dollars a book. And these I think are probably the two in this book haul that I think he will probably like the most. Our next book in the haul is Sputnik's Guide to Life on Earth by Frank Cottrell Boyce. Again, the reading age is 8 to 12. It is a story about Prez, who has to go live with a foster family out in the country. He answers the door one day and he meets Sputnik, a kid who is a little different. He can, first of all, Prez can hear what Sputnik is thinking, or the other way around. Sputnik can hear what Prez is thinking. And second of all, Sputnik looks like a dog to everyone except Prez. And he can also manipulate the laws of space and time. So it turns out that Sputnik is actually an alien, and he has a mission that requires Prez's help because the Earth has been marked for destruction, and the only way they can stop it is to come up with 10 reasons why the planet should be saved. So it is a story of heart, humor, and finding one's place in the universe. So here's a quick look. And it is also from Book Outlet. The next book is a middle grade book, so reading ages for 8 to 12. It's by Margaret Peterson Haddix, which is one of Grayson's most favorite authors. So he will be excited to read this. It's called Under Their Skin. It's about twins, Nick and Aaron, and their mom is getting remarried. They are 12 years old. They are a little unsure or skeptical when she tells them that their lives won't change very much, even though they will have to move and they will have a new stepfather, stepbrother, and stepsister. But their mom says, don't worry, because they will never have to even meet their step siblings. So this really kind of puzzles the twins, and so they set out on a mission to find out who exactly these kids are and why they're being kept hidden. This book is also a book by Margaret Peterson Haddix called The Remarkables, and the reading level for this book is, again, or the reading age is 8 to 12. So there's a mystery next door. Marin, she sees these teens that are laughing and having fun, and then the next minute they're gone like magic, and she can't believe her eyes. She wonders who they are. Can anybody else see them? She has lots of questions, and then she meets Charlie, who also reveals that he knows about them as well, and he actually refers to them as Remarkables, and he warns her to stay away from the Remarkables. And both Charlie and Marin have some secrets that they're holding on to, and solving the mystery of the Remarkables could perhaps help both Charlie and Marin. So it ends up being a story with real issues that many children face, and there's shows how the characters deal with things like bullying or the guilt children experience when parents have addiction issues, but also the uplifting power found in strong families of all shapes and sizes. So it ends up being a pulse-pounding mystery full of secrets, surprises, and the power of family. The next books in the book haul are The Magic Misfits and The Magic Misfits, the second story. There are actually, I think, 4 books in this series, but we just have the first 2 for now. They are by Neil Patrick Harris, and this book starts off, it is about a street magician whose name is Carter, runs away, and he never expects to find friends and magic in a sleepy little New England town. But things change instantly as a greedy character named Basso and his crew of crooked carnies. They arrive and they try and steal anything and everything they can get their fingers on. So Carter teams up with 5 other like-minded illusionists, and then together, using teamwork and magic, they set out to save the town from Basso's clutches, basically. So these 6 magic misfits soon discover adventure, friendship, and their own self-worth in this new series by Neil Patrick Harris. This next book in our book haul is called The Colossus Rises. It's part of the Seven Wonders series by Peter Larangis. He also, earlier I showed books called Throwback. It was the time traveling book, but he also has written the 39 Clues series as well. And this is basically Percy Jackson meets Indiana Jones, and there's a lot of history and mystery of the ancient world, and this is the first book in the 5-book series, which tells the story of Jack, who is an ordinary kid with an extraordinary problem. In a few months he's going to die unless he finds 7 magic oculi that have been hidden in the 7 wonders of the ancient world. So looks fun. Another book outlet score. It was only a couple dollars, and here's a look on the inside. So again, reading age is 8 to 12, and looks like a great adventure fantasy kind of book. Okay, this next book is actually a box set. This is the first in the series of the Unwanteds by Lisa McMahon. And this we did not get from Book Outlet. This was a little bit of a splurge. This was one of Grayson's kind of back to school gifts. He loves, it's described as the Hunger Games meets Harry Potter. And he actually loves both the Hunger Games and Harry Potter. So if you look at this on Amazon, it gets 5 out of 5 stars with over 700 ratings. And so I could just kind of tell this would be something that he would want for his own personal library. So we went ahead and got it. The first is just the Unwanteds, and then the next ones are, let's see, the Island of Silence, the Island of Fire, Island of Legends, Island of Shipwrecks, Island of Graves, and Island of Dragons. So this will keep him busy for a little bit, but the reading age is 8 to 12 years old. And here is the back of the cover says, every year in Quill, 13-year-olds are sorted into categories. The strong, intelligent Wanteds go to university, and the artistic Unwanteds are sent to their grave. On the day of the purge, identical twins Alex and Aaron Stowe await their fate. While Aaron is hopeful of becoming a Wanted, Alex knows his chances are slim. He's been caught drawing with a stick in the dirt, and in the stark gray land of Quill, being creative is a death sentence. But when Alex and the other Unwanteds face the Eliminators, they discover an eccentric magician named Mr. Today in his hidden world that exists to save the condemned children. So Artemay is a colorful place of talking statues, uncommon creatures, and artistic magic where creativity is considered a gift and a weapon. So I will link all these books that I can, even the ones I got from the Book Outlet. I will try and put the link down below so you can check Book Outlet to see if any of the books are still available there, but they all can be purchased from Amazon. These next books are actually the sequel series to the Unwanted series I just showed you. So altogether, it's quite a large series if you put them kind of together, read them one right after the other. So these are the Unwanted quests, and this is the first one, Dragon Captives. And so this story picks up 10 years after Alex and Aaron in the first series brought peace to Quill and Artemay. So these are their younger twin sisters' journey beyond the islands. And so this is book 1. And then we also got, now this was a Book Outlet purchase. Now, kind of hit and miss with these. Some of these were from Book Outlet and some were from Amazon. But then the second one is called Dragon Bones. And then we have book 3, Dragon Ghosts of the Unwanted Quest. And then we have Dragon Curse. And then we have Dragonfire. And these are, again, reading age 8 to 12. I would say that I think there are still, I think we have these 5, but I think there's still 2 more at least that I haven't picked up yet, but I'm sure we will add those soon to our collection, because these also, like I said, Grayson loves dragons, and he loves magic and Hunger Games and that whole vibe. So I think these are going to be some of his favorite books this upcoming year. Okay, now these next, I guess, 5 books are definitely school related. This upcoming school year, we're going to be touching on a couple of topics during social studies that these will support. So these will just be additional reads for him, supplementary reads to what to our curriculum. So one topic that we're going to get to later this fall is going to be the Civil War. So we picked up what was the Battle of Gettysburg. Now these books, if you haven't seen them, they're definitely it's nice. They have lots of pictures, and it touches on one topic, and it has quite a bit of information actually in all of these books. They've got a lot of actual photographs as well, which is nice. And the reading level is going to be easy for Grayson, so I think he should be able to, kind of knock this book out in an evening or an afternoon. And I actually really like them as well. I get a lot of information out of these little books. They're not very expensive. I think when I've purchased them from the book outlet, they're like, I don't know, $2 or $3. And so we like to have them for every kind of history topic that we have coming up. So for the Civil War, we have some other ones, but we're adding what was the Battle of Gettysburg. And then we also purchased Who Was Ulysses S. Grant. And again, there's some illustrations, drawings, and just lots of, this one actually doesn't seem to have any actual photographs, but a lot of good information. And then we also have Who Was Robert E. Lee. And this one has the photographs. I think it just has the illustrations. But he'll be able to, each day when we're going over the Civil War, I'll probably just give him one of these to read on his own. And then next year, this school year, but probably at the beginning of 2022, we hope to be getting into, or early spring, the World War II. So I picked up a couple more that we still needed for that topic as well. So we got Who Was Winston Churchill, again with the illustrations. And this one also has no photographs. And then Who Was Franklin Roosevelt. And just a quick look through that. Again, illustrations. And these books tend to have a lot of information, bite-sized information. It's not like, reading a full, 200-page book or something, but it's easy to understand, lots of good information. And like I said, we can he or I can even read these in a single sitting usually. So there we go. Those are our adds to our Who Was or What Was collection for this book haul. So this is our last book of the book haul. It's called This Very Tree by Sean Rubin. It's a story of 9/11, resilience, and regrowth. So it might be a little late for 9/11 this year. We got it just in time for 9/11. But I would highly recommend this. I'm so glad we have this in our library. It's something that I know we will read each year. I love it so much. The So inside, actually, if you take off the cover, it even has just the jacket, it has a beautiful book cover. And here's the tree that we're talking about through the story. And there is a tree that was in the kind of the courtyard or the plaza for the World Trade Towers. And so it was there on 9/11, and it just kind of talks about very gently the attack and what happened to the tree. The tree actually gets buried beneath rubble and was burned, and then it talks about it took, I think, like 2 weeks or weeks for them to uncover the tree. And then when they do finally uncover the tree, they decide to take it to a nursery in a faraway park. And they start to take care of this tree. And slowly it starts to come back and grow, and it kind of shows as the years are passing in the nursery, and as the tree is regrowing, they are rebuilding. And finally, the tree is ready to be replanted, and so it was time for it to go home. They dig it up and haul it back to New York City, and they replant the tree in the plaza. And now they have replanted in the plaza many trees, and so it is one of the trees there, and it is called the Survivor Tree. And you can actually visit the tree there in real life. And it's just a story about how to find some peace and hope. And it's the first tree to blossom. Just really a very beautiful story. And actually, it even talks about, back here in the end, there's a lot of author notes, that seedlings of this survivor tree are sent all over the world to communities that are suffering from recent tragedies. So these trees, like this parent tree, continue to stand as symbols of resilience, strength, and hope. So it's just a beautiful story, and one I think everybody would be very happy to have in their library. So we love it. I did get this one from Amazon. Okay, the last two items in this haul are actually not books. They are some throw blankets, some plush throw blankets from Target. The brand is Threshold, and oh my gosh, I love these blankets so much. They are so soft. I'm quite a bit of a blanket snob, and really I just can't even tell you how soft the outside of these blankets are. And then it's lined with Sherpa that is also super soft. I love it so much. And they're only, I think they were $15. So I bought this one for myself to have. Grace and I like to do our read alouds outside on the porch. And with fall coming, it'll just be nice. We try to make a thing of it and take out some hot cocoa and our blankets and read out there when it's really nice. So I bought one for myself in this lighter color, and then I bought one for him in a little darker color. And it also is lined with the same Sherpa, but they're just so soft. If you need a new blanket, I would definitely get these. And so to find them, I'll try and link them in the section below, but you can also just search at Target for Threshold Plush Throw, and they should come up. But here's a closer picture. I mean, they just look so lovely too, like draped over a couch. And here's the oranger one. This one's got, it looks like more like leaves. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then this one has more like pumpkins. Let's see. So if you like a good blanket, I would highly recommend them.